Hello? Hello? Hello, everyone. Hello?
Hey.
I'm sorry I'm late. I was having technical problems on this end.
That's okay.
We've got Chantel there.
Yeah.
Who else? It looks like 7 others. Excellent.
We have Leslie, Donna, and Marta.
Leslie, Donna, and Marta. Very good. Courtney.
Courtney and Chris are here.
Excellent. Ginger. And Leslie. All right. I think we're going to get going since I started so late. And I'm going to mute you all, which means I won't be able to hear you. And that's largely just to control the background noise. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Sounds like it. And what that means is if you want to get my attention, you can write it in the chat box. So take a moment now to see if you can find that chat box. And you can type in your questions at any moment in that chat box. There's also a way for you to unmute yourself. If you really have to say something, do that and shout it out. As long as it should be okay. All right. Sounds like we're getting some backup here. Background noise. Okay. Angela is saying, repeat who is on the call, please. Everybody can hear me? We have Ashley and Christy and Chantel and Barbara Hanson and the AALWW business office, whoever that is. And Leslie and Ginger. Everybody good on that? Leslie, Donna, and Mata, can you all see the group chat? All right. Courtney and Chris from Pocono. Marta is there. Someone just joined. Wildwood is here, it says. All right. I think we're going to proceed. And again, if you have questions or problems at any time, type them into that chat because I'm seeing them come in instantaneously. So hello from New Hampshire, where it's a beautiful day, finally. We're going to talk today about Facebook advertising and the paid options that you have available to you as communities using Facebook. And then we're going to end it with any remaining questions you folks might have from your now vast experience using Facebook. And can you all see me? I'm realizing you probably can't. Yes? Yes, you can. Okay, good. I'm not seeing myself, which is weird. So we're going to end up by having you type in your questions, and then I'll try to answer them one at a time. And if I can't answer them online here in the time we have allotted, I will get the answer to you via email or through Angela or whatever. Did any of you get a chance to listen to the previous broadcast, the one we did 2 weeks ago, or have need to listen to it? Type in there, yes, we did. And then did that work, technologically speaking? You were able to see me and hear me? Chantel says yes. Courtney says yes. Ashley says we did. Yes, it worked. Yes, yes. So this is all good. So in that same vein, this presentation is being recorded as we speak and will be sent to you in the same type of file format. So thanks for that. That was great. So anytime you see these students here in a classroom, that means it's your time to talk and your time to ask questions. But continuously you can ask questions through the chat, okay? So here's what we're going to talk about today. Facebook paid advertising. Some of you know that as boosted posts, and there are 2 different kinds, so we're going to get into that. And then we'll end with anything else you want to learn, okay? So in Facebook, with some rare exceptions out there, I think you've only been using what are the free options, the making status updates every day and putting up videos and photos. It's all free to you, even though you're a business. But today we're going to talk about the paid options that Facebook makes available to you. So as anybody out there that's listening, have you already created any paid ads or boosted posts on Facebook for your community? If you have, drop it in here. Yes, Leslie has and Courtney has. Why don't you just type me a little description of how you use the paid advertising, just so we can convey it to everybody here. So you folks who've done it, I might rely on you to drop in here and help me along the way here to teach your fellow workers, okay? So for those of you who haven't experienced this, here's what we're talking about. Facebook has a number of ways you can pay to deliver your message or your ad to people who are not already on your Facebook page, who have not liked your Facebook page. And that's the beauty of it. These ads will find people who've been searching for something related to your, something related to a Woodbine facility, senior living, or perhaps aging, or assisted living, or such a thing. They've done that kind of search either within Facebook or out in a general Google search. And these ads will find those people even though they haven't already liked your page, haven't become a fan of your page. So here on the screen here, you see in the upper right, a woman in a fancy dress and a blue couch. And so me, as a personal Facebook user, I was delivered these ads on my right-hand side because out on Google now, I've been searching for a dress to wear to a wedding that I have to go to in September. And I've searched for love seats that I'm trying to fit into my future living room when I move in the fall. So that's why these two ads on the right appeared to me. They found me, I didn't find them, okay? And that's the beauty of it. So these ads that you're going to create can appear in 3 different places to the users of Facebook. It can be in the right-hand column, that's where my dress and my couch appeared. Right here in this example, I had just recently looked for sandals online, and here they are giving me an ad for a shoe company. So they appear in the right-hand column on people's personal pages. They appear in the news feed. So right there, after one cat video and one cat post that some of your friends have made, then comes an ad, and then comes another cat post, okay? So that middle one there with the smiling blonde woman, that's an ad. You can tell it's an ad because it says sponsored at the top. Somebody has paid to deliver that to you. So those two, because they're in that news feed, are also what annoys Facebook readers. You know, they're just there to look at their cats and other people's kids and see what their children are doing. And then along comes an ad that they're not interested in. They annoy people, for sure. They annoy me, except when those ads start delivering to me something that I have in fact been interested in. And so these ads are highly targeted, and they are being delivered to people who are interested in your product, theoretically. Okay? So those ads can also appear in the news feed when people are looking at Facebook using their smartphones, right? And that's something like 80% of people are using Facebook on their smartphone at any given time, 80%. Mobile phones are the way most people are accessing Facebook. So therefore, there's a Facebook mobile ad option for you. So here's an example of one of those. This is just in the news feed that would have showed up on my smartphone here. And because of the way it's formatted, it's related to an actual physical location, Jasper's Market, whatever that is. You can see that it's an ad by the word sponsored here. And by virtue of the way they created it, it is automatically generating a map for a person to find where this Jasper's Market is located. So for you folks, you could structure such that would show where's your facility, okay? Did we just get... So reasons to think about using Facebook ads as Woodbine Communities. A good way to do it is if your facility is brand new to Facebook. I don't think that applies to anybody that's on this call. If you're brand new in business, I know that Woodbine's got some new communities coming and being developed at this moment, so they should probably consider doing paid ads when they're up and running. Or when you have a new product or service or something to emphasize in your business, and that could encompass a lot of things for you folks. When you're holding an event, Facebook ads are really, really quite good at getting attention to an event, even better than the event feature that's built into Facebook. An ad that promotes an event is usually quite effective. And then any other time you want to increase your visibility to a highly targeted audience. And we're going to talk about what I mean by that in a little bit. More reasons to consider doing it. They're awfully cheap, especially when compared to any other form of paid advertising you might do. I know that Steve and I got into a discussion about this at your president's meeting up here at Lake Winnipesaukee. They just really are cheap. There is much money as you have to spend, and I don't mean to be facetious about that, but you can construct them any way you like and have them delivered until the amount of money you've set aside is spent. And I'm going to go into great detail on that. They're really, really best when you know who you're trying to reach. If your audience is very local or you know exactly where they are, they're very effective. And more reasons to do it. You will know instantly if they are working. And if they aren't working, you can adjust them on the fly so that they will work. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Hold on here just a sec. Okay, so when you're building a Facebook ad for a Woodbine community, you have to act as you, the personal person using Facebook, not as the company page. In other words, when you go to create that ad, Facebook is going to say, oh, you've got to flip over and be Barbara now. You can't be the Woodbine community. And that's basically because Facebook needs to associate this ad activity with a credit card, and that credit card needs to be associated with a person so that they can charge you for the ad you've just built. Okay, any questions about that so far? Anybody confused about what I just said? Type it into the chat box or unmute yourself if you need to. No questions so far? Okay. So here, how would you do that? How do you build the ad? So here I am operating as personal me on Facebook. You can tell that by my face up at the top. I'm not operating as a business. But to get to the ad creation part, you're going to pull down that upper down arrow that's always in your upper right when you're looking at your Facebook page. And down here where this pink arrow is, create ads. Everybody see that? Is it good? Thank you. Callista points out, once you've created an account on Facebook, you don't have to give the credit information every time. It's going to live in Facebook, and Facebook will remember you once you've done it once, which is really handy. Thank you, Callista, for that. So there's how you find it. You find the Create Ads button, and there's actually a bunch of other places. Facebook makes it really easy for you to find the place to create ads because they want you to do this, right? So then you have to think about, well, what kind of ad campaign is this? And what you're seeing here is a big long list of different types of ad campaigns. And I've circled the ones that are most popular or that I would most recommend that you all consider. So the second one down, promote your page, is what I'm going to talk about first. And that's one that you should all consider doing now or at intervals in the future. And boost your posts. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So a campaign type, a Facebook campaign ad type, is to promote your page. In other words, just an ad that's going to basically say to people when they see it, come like our page, come join this page so that you too can get the fabulous things we're posting there. And I'm recommending that you do this if your page like count is low, and you will see my comments that I gave to you all individually on whether I thought your rate was low, your number of likers was low, or if you're brand new, if you're a new community, you should be doing this. So we're going to look in more detail about how to create a page-like ad in a minute. But the second most popular type of Facebook paid ad that I would recommend to you all is a boosted post. And that's something probably some of you have already done. Boosted post there are two ways to do it. Just decide that I've made the status update and I've attached this picture and it's already gone live on Facebook. Then you can just press a button and turn it into an ad, essentially. There are times when you'll make a status update and then you go on your business, and very soon Facebook will tell you something like, this post you made recently is performing X% better than anything else you've ever done on this page. And that's a sign unto you that you should pay attention to what Facebook has said and see if that post is something you'd like to promote and it fits in with your marketing scheme. Boosted posts, like all paid ads, are delivered to people who are not already fans of your page. So if any of you out there have done a boosted post, type into the chat and tell us, if you can remember, what caused you to do that boosted post and if you took note of any of the results. And you can do that at any time while I'm talking here, and I'm going to move on. But tell me your experience with boosted posts and using the chat. So a boosted post, I just went through when to do it, when Facebook suggests it. Another good reason to do a boosted post is when you have a pretty complex idea you want to promote. A boosted post gives you more words, more space, as it were, than a regular Facebook ad, like those couch ones and that wedding dress one that I showed you. A boosted post gives you a little more text to run with when you turn it into a paid boosted post. All right. So Leslie's reporting, they made a special boosted post when they had a post that welcomed a new resident, a special welcome for a new resident. I think that's a brilliant reason to boost a post. If you do a post welcoming a new resident, boost it. That's just going to be spreading the love, spreading good karma, and you're going to highlight the fact that you're a vibrant community and people are coming to live there, okay? So let's look at just the basic building of a like my page post, okay? So your first job in setting up an ad that is just an ad that's going to say, come like our business page. Your first job is to figure out your targeting. Target your audience. Here's where you got to know who you're trying to reach and where they are. Calista's reporting, we ran a boosted post of a rainbow over our community and got a big response from the Facebook community. Isn't that great? So that's one of those things that probably doesn't fit into the marketing plan. You know, you don't plan that there's a rainbow coming over your facility. But because it was, I'm assuming, an awesome photograph, people love rainbows, and boosting it, you've reached beyond your usual audience, and that was a brilliant move, okay? So back to targeting. We are targeting now an audience to which you're going to deliver your basic Facebook like post, or like ad, I should say. So here in the, up here it says ad set, define your audience and budget and schedule. So we're going to just work on the audience. And what you're going to be looking at here, this is a template that Facebook delivers to you. It makes it very easy to build your ad step by step. So the first question for you is, where are the people you're trying to reach? And so I'm assuming the audience you would be trying to reach would be people making decisions for the residents who are coming to your facilities. And let's just say that's a grown, a daughter, for example, like me, who's about my age, and perhaps they're looking at something within their, very near where they're currently living. So here's where you would pick out what community, and then Facebook gives you a chance to say, within a certain X mile radius of that community. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But you all need to be thinking about, so where are the people making decisions, and from how far away are they? Now, some of you might say, well, the adult children of our residents are all over the country. And so that's going to be hard to know. And here's a point where you want to pick something that you do know based on where people are currently coming from, and try the ad first. If you just tried to do the entire country, it's going to be not effective because it's not going to be targeted. So let's just look at that in a minute. At this moment, this ad that I'm currently building here on this slide is targeted to the entire United States, not recommended. And it's targeted at everyone over 18 and up to 65 plus. And it's targeted to both men and women. So the three main points: where, how old, and who. And over here, Facebook is giving me the instruction, your audience selection is fairly broad. It's too broad is what they mean by that. I have the potential to reach 68 million people if I built an ad with this, with these targets, but it's not going to be very effective with the, because it's just too many people. So we're going to watch this part change. The daily reach number is going to change when we narrow that audience a little further on the next slide. All right. So here, I built an ad related to my business. So my business is located in New Hampshire, so I built it to say, deliver this to everybody in New Hampshire, except only people who are older than 40 years old. And so that would probably be a good age range for you folks, but you would know better than I. And I said, instead of all men and women, deliver this only to women. Because as I'm sure is the case, it's the women who are making the decisions quite often. So my audience here is still a little broad, but we brought it down from, what did I say, 68 million before. But now the potential audience for this ad to be delivered to all of New Hampshire is 63,000 people. And it's showing me daily on this ad. This is going to change based on what we budget for, which we're going to get into. But I could reach, with this teeny tiny Facebook ad, between 1,800 and 4,600 people. So that's just good targeting. And you know that you're not going to reach an entire 63,000. You're going to possibly reach between 1,800 and 4,600. That's still a really good number, and it's a really good number because it's what the advertisers would call targeted leads, people who you're going to assume are ready to buy in terms of liking your page, okay? Any questions there? Anybody confused about what I've said so far? Type your questions in the chat. And while I've continued to talk about targeting, there are a bunch more targeting details you can give to that Facebook building section. But we're not going to get into those more detailed ones because those three I mentioned now are the most important. Where, how old are they, and what gender. And now we'll talk a little bit about budgets. So if you were building an ad that is just an ad to get people to like your page, this $25 you're seeing on this slide was automatically filled in for me. It was the default that Facebook's ad building tool presented. But you should know that in this particular instance, it could be as low as $5 a day, and you can run it as many days as you want. You can give this campaign a lifetime budget beyond the $5 a day that just says, turn this ad off when I've spent $25. So let's say it's $5 a day, but you gave it an overall budget of $25 for the life of the ad. Facebook will stop delivering the ad at the moment you reach $25. Within that budget time frame, then you get a chance to say when you want this ad to start. Do you want to start running it right away? Or you can give it a specific time frame. Run it on June 15th and run it till July 15th if you like. But don't recommend that long of a time schedule. Most ads have a shelf life of about 2 or 3 days, which is to say, if they're going to get traffic, they'll get that traffic within that first 2 or 3 days. Did I confuse anybody there on budgets? It'd be understandable. We're going to do a little bit more on that, but again, type your ad or type your question or unmute yourself if you've got a serious question about that. So let's say we've just gone that $5 a day route. You are only that's your budget. but you're only actually going to get charged if somebody clicks on that ad, clicks through on the ad and likes the page. So this way, I'm formatting this particular ad to be page likes, and you're only going to get charged if somebody clicks on it. In other words, if nobody clicks on it, you're not spending any money. And that's what I love about Facebook ads. They're sort of risk-free, and you're only charged when they work, when somebody clicks on it. Now, there's a whole other way to build ads that is based on impressions, which is to say number of sets of eyeballs seeing the ad without actually having to interact with it, without actually clicking on it. We won't get into that here because I always recommend these the pay-per-click option. Any questions, again, type them into the chat or unmute yourself. So after you've set a budget for your ad, again, we're going off a $5 a day deal in this example. It's time for you to design the ad. And this really can't be any easier. They've made this really, really easy for people. You get to choose a photograph that you've just taken. You can choose from ads that are, from photos that are already being held within your photo albums and on your Facebook page. So you can go in and grab one that would work for an ad. Or you can choose a bunch of them. This is fairly new for Facebook. They've got a slideshow option where you can choose between 3 and 7 photos, and the ad will actually be rotating the image to the reader. And those can be quite effective if you've got a bunch of good photographs. And then finally, you can build an ad around a video. And I know a couple of you have had some really interesting videos recently because I'm, as an administrator temporarily on some of your pages, I've been seeing the traffic. There's one from a woman who turned 100, and she's a resident who turned 100. She's in a pink dress and sitting in a wheelchair. Does anybody out there listening want to fess up to that being their facility? Because I'm sorry, I don't remember which one it was. But the traffic from that would be Flora Vale, Calista says. Yay to Flora Vale. That was a great ad. It looked like a great post, a great video. It looked like it got a lot of traffic. And that would be a great one to turn around and boost into an ad. And we'll talk about boosting in a second. But that's an example of a video that would be great to make part of a video-based ad. Yay to Flora Vale on that one. So, here's again, the ad you create is going to appear in 3 different places on a person's news feed, right down the middle, or on the right-hand side in the right column of their page when they're visiting it, or on their mobile phone. And here in this ad building template, Facebook is giving a chance to choose all of those, none of those, or some of them. And you would just, the default is to be delivered to all 3 of them. You can choose, I don't want it delivered on the right. I just want it down the middle, or vice versa. I don't want it down the middle in the news feed. I want it just on the right. Deciding that, you can just hit the remove button, and that just is telling Facebook, don't deliver it in that particular location. Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody there, but that's just one of the options they give you. Again, type any questions you have. So what you've done to create this Come Like Our Page ad is just told Facebook who you want the ad delivered to, where they are located, what their gender is. You've told it what your budget is, in this case, $5 a day. And you've given it a little bit of text that says something like, come like our page, or Woodbine communities are the best, or we love our residents, something like that. And then you're all set. You hit the go button, and this is what comes back in an instant, instantaneously. You've created that ad. Facebook will tell you your order has been placed. You're not being charged yet, not at all. You'll receive a notice from Facebook when the ad is approved, and there are some stipulations that Facebook has. They won't approve something within certain guidelines if it has obscenities or looks like spam, or there's a couple of other things they won't approve. But pretty much you're all set with that one ad, okay? So let's say you've got that ad running, and you've got a budget of $5 a day and a total overall budget of $25. How are you going to know what's going on? So Facebook is really, really good about notifying you and tracking what's happening with your ad. it will show you in a daily basis how much you spent. If you've got it set up right, you can have that information emailed to you at the end of every day if you'd want it that way. But know that Facebook is always keeping detailed record of what's happening with that ad. So what you're seeing on the screen here is a bunch of ads that I ran once, and it will show you how much I spent by the day, down to the penny. It shows me whether, in this ad manager tool, it shows me whether the ad is currently running or not, or if I've paused it for whatever reason. It shows how many people were reached with the ad, how many clicks there were is in here somewhere as well. So know that you're not going to be flying blind. You're also, this same information is going to show you, hey, nobody's clicking on this ad. You're not spending any money, but then you're also not being effective. So if that happens to be the case, if 2 or 3 days go by and nobody has clicked on your ad, and you know this because you haven't been charged or it's not included in your data here, it's time to change something in that ad, one of the elements of that ad, change it up. You could change the photograph, and maybe it's the photograph that isn't catching people's attention, or change the headline, or change the text. And that's what Facebook recommends you do, that you change it up when it's not working. And from what I just showed you, it's pretty easy to make that's the same way we built it. It's the same way you would make changes to it. Put the ad on pause and then change it, okay? Hey, questions about a basic Come Like Our Page ad? Type them into the chat room there, or unmute yourself if you needed to. Or we'll just go on and do boosted posts, which it sounds like the folks with the rainbow did that. So boosted posts are great, but Facebook is overzealous about telling you to boost posts. Not overzealous, but they'll tell you to boost any post that does well. So this particular one from Forest View. Forest View, are you out there? Are you part of the community today on this line? Type in if you are. But Forest View, yep, Ashley. Okay, thanks very much, Ashley. So I think this was yesterday, wasn't it? They Ashley published, it's a pre-made video that came from Knowing More, whoever that is. It was CNA Week, right? So it's a great little video that they brought over from these folks, the CNA folks. And I think from what I saw, it looked like it was getting pretty good traffic relative to others that you've done. Is that true, Ashley? Did you see the data behind this and to see that it was doing well? Type in the chat if you can. Yes, Ashley's saying, yep, they see that it was doing well. So it's quite likely that Facebook would pop up and say, hey, this is doing better than others. You probably want to boost it. But here's where it gets to be a little gray. You need to make some decisions at that point. Facebook says to boost it, yes, but is this something you want to A, spend money on, and B, does it fit in with your marketing objectives? So here's a boost, an ad, a Facebook status update that's all about a video that's created by somebody else. It certainly is fine for you to boost it and to get it to a broader audience for the Forest View community. But is it a wise thing to do? I would allege that a better thing to boost would be something that you've created, an original to you, or an original to Forest View manner, and that you do that intentionally to fit some marketing objective. So instead, let's say it's that video of the woman who turned 100 back at Floral Vale. Boosting that would absolutely make sense to me, because you're showing how caring your staff is, you're showing how wonderful your residents are, and that you take special note of special occasions like that. So you want to make a decision, is my point, anytime Facebook is suggesting a boosted post. Here's a little challenge when making a boosted post or any kind of ad. Actually, the same thing applies. Facebook is saying, yeah, you built this boosted post. It's about a workshop I'm doing in a couple of weeks, but it's got a lot of text on the graphic here. I had overlaid the details about this event. I put it on top of the graphic. And Facebook is saying, it's got a little too much text actually on the image. It used to be that Facebook wanted you or wouldn't allow you to do more than 20% text on any given graphic. And that was having to do with spamminess, I guess. But they've changed that recently, but yet they're still saying the more text instead of a graphic on the graphic, the less often it will be delivered. The less often the ad will be delivered. So that's just something to watch for. Excuse me, losing my voice. So did I lose anybody there? Everybody okay there? No questions? All right. Sorry, I just had to cough. So, some best practices for your future ads are, if you're going to include images, make sure they're totally relevant to what you're doing at Woodbine. So in other words, you might decide you have a really great picture of a clown or a moose or something, and it's a wonderful picture and it will catch people's attention, yes, but it's not something really relevant to the Woodbine community. So you'll want to instead make sure that the pictures you are putting up there are of the residents or of the staff or of the building. I recommend people at all times. Whatever photo you include in your ads should be very clear when at a small size, when people are looking at it on a cell phone, because it's small. So you want that photograph to be the very, very clearest possible photograph you can do. And again, like I said, the less text, the better. So here's another example of a boosted post that I did for an organization that I manage their Facebook page. It's a local hospital. It's the fitness center of a local hospital. So I did a status update of just these flowers that were delivered to the reception desk by some members of the fitness center there, paying members of the fitness club. This thing received all sorts of traffic as a status update. And then Facebook came back and said, don't you want to boost this? It's performing 75% better than anything else. And in this case, it's a great photograph. People loved it, but we didn't spend the money to boost it because, more importantly, we should be showing people what is happening with our members at that wellness center, or what's happening on the fitness floor, as opposed to something as nice as flowers were. We just made a decision not to spend money on promoting this particular aspect. That just gets back to what are your marketing objectives. All right, so we already did that. My overarching position on any use of photos, whether in an ad or on your Facebook page overall, and you may have noticed this in my reviews of your pages, is to get those close-up faces in there. As human beings, that's what we respond to. We love seeing this woman on the right, the close-up view of her beautiful face. And if that was part of an ad, I'd go, wow, I want to find out what this woman is all about or what this community is all about. On the left-hand side there, you've got some wonderful residents. You've got what I presume is a staff person, and you've got the logo in that photograph. Not a great photo, however, only because nobody's facing the camera. We can't see anybody up close, and therefore we're a step removed from that ad. So to the extent that you can, include a call to action in either your text for the ad or overlaid on the graphic, like this one you see here where it says start now. So get a call to action in there. What do you want the viewer or the reader of that ad to do? Do you want them to click through to get more information? Do you want them to call your place? In which case you want to make sure you say that. Call now and here's the number. Or do you want them to sign up for something? Are you asking them to RSVP to an event or sign up to come to our open house or something like that? So always give them something to do, something you want them to do. So if you start running ad campaigns every now and then, either a like campaign or a boosted posts, you definitely, after running that ad, do not want it to ignore your page. So in my assessments of all your pages, I said, strive for once a day, right? Do not, it's okay to fool around with that every now and then and forget and whatever. But if you do it right after an ad campaign, do not by any means let that page sit fallow. Let it sit there doing nothing for the few days after an ad campaign, because that's when you're most likely to be hooking people in and giving them something to look at when they come there, and that's what they're going to expect by virtue of having seen your ad. So make sure that page continues to be filled up right after an ad is run. Okay, time to start thinking about other Facebook questions you have for me, advanced Facebook techniques or something you've tried that you can't do. And think about those and type those questions into chat as I just summarize what I've said about the ads. They work because they can be highly targeted. You'll know if they're working by virtue of the clicks or what you're being charged. They are much less cost than a paid print ad you'd put in the newspapers or anything you put on radio or television. It's the cheapest form of advertising you can come across, I know of, other than non-paid ads. They can be created and changed easily. The steps I went through here were not radically different from what you'd be doing live in person on your Facebook page. It takes about 7 minutes if you know what you're doing. If you don't get any clicks or traction on the ad, change it up. Okay, strive for an emotional connection in your ad, not just a message that says buy from us or come to us, we're the best, we're the best. Strive for tugging at somebody's heartstrings, really, is a great way to think about it. All right, it's over to all of you. Any questions you have, type them in, either about Facebook paid ads or other tips and techniques you're not sure of when you're using your Facebook business page. Anyone at all? How many of you have increased your Facebook activity since we met online 2 weeks ago? And if so, have you seen results that you can tell us about or quantify for us? Anybody want to just type something so I know that somebody's out there? Yes. Kalista said, I ran a boosted ad and had a big response. What was, Kalista, was that the rainbow one? Yeah. Or were there more than that, Kalista? Courtney says, Pocono has run boosted posts, I think, and had seen results. Okay. Any other questions out there? Is Angela listening? Angela, type in if you're there. Ashley writes, we've definitely done more shares and post likes and getting a wider number of people reach and a handful more page likes, but haven't tried boosted posts. Well, Ashley, it looks like you're doing a good job then. Thank you for a great class. Kalista, you have a beautiful family via your Facebook. Oh, okay. Barbara, yes, we are here. Okay. On the boosted post, also have written replies and shares. Oh, Kalista, are you saying you boosted a post and then people replied right there? Is that what you're saying, Angela? I mean, Kalista, and I see Angela's here. Great, with Barbara. Kalista, yes, so that was a good point I didn't mention. So you've boosted that post and now you've reached a wider audience, but you're also giving them a chance to like and comment and share on that post, which is on that boosted post, and that's absolutely what we want to see have happen. The more that happens, the more it happens. You're increasing your reach, as it were. Kalista said, yes, we've had reactions as well. Reactions to the boosted post, meaning a smiley face or a thumbs up sign, right? Great. So maybe this is a question for Angela or for all of you. Do you have advertising budgets already set, and you know how much you're supposed to be spending in the upcoming year or something like that? So the question is, do you have advertising budgets? Waiting for a response. Yes, yes. Each community has their own. I'm assuming that's coming from Angela or Barbara. Yes, yes. Okay. So I don't know what your fiscal year is or when your budget planning happens, but I recommend you just approach this with a spirit of experimentation. You know, if you have $25 sitting around to spend, give it a try. Pick a page-like ad or a really good status update that you want to boost and spend some small amount of money on it just to see what the traction is. Yes, Barbara is Angela. Okay, so Angela's saying you can all decide when to spend your marketing budget. So that's my overarching recommendation, is to try it. Give it a try. Pick something really good, or pick something that you're really trying to promote now, whether it's that open house you want people to come to. I know I've seen that some of you have group interviews for filling open positions, right? A Facebook ad advertising your jobs that are open, if you're having trouble recruiting people, wouldn't be a bad idea, and actually could be quite effective. And there you want to think, if you're going to advertise the positions you have open, there you have to think about, who are you trying to reach? Who's that target audience? Presuming it's the younger end, the people under 40, as opposed to what I just said before about decision makers. Shoot for the under 40 crowd. But a well-placed paid ad for filling those jobs or coming to those group interviews would be a great way to do that. Any comments there? Barbara or Angela, I've been watching the Facebook pages and believe all have been doing better. I would suggest trying some of today's training at each community, including ads. Thank you, Angela. Good. I'm glad to see you're on board with that. So still here to answer questions. We've got about 8 minutes. Any other questions you have about what you have or haven't tried on Facebook, what you see working or not working when you thought it would work? Has anybody increased their changes of their cover photo, the big banner at the top? Ashley says, we're reaching for the credit card just after this in service. Okay, I take no responsibility for that, you folks. Any other Facebook questions? Anybody have trouble switching up your cover photos, as I have frequently suggested? Nobody out there. Anybody suggesting topics for any future webinars such as this? If Angela agrees, I think we have budgeted a time for one more of these, if you can think of a topic that you'll need. Nope. Okay, gone. It's at 1:54 now. As I mentioned early on, this is recorded, and you will be able to see it and hear it again if you like. Oh, Barbara is suggesting LinkedIn as a topic, and that's a good one to get into, I think, in a separate, shorter webinar. And we could do that if Angela agrees. We could set up a time for that. LinkedIn, when I do LinkedIn as a topic, I look at it both as you and your personal presence on LinkedIn. Your personal presence on LinkedIn can help your community, your Woodbine community, and creating Woodbine business page on LinkedIn would be recommended. Does that sound good to you, Angela, if you're out there doing LinkedIn? Yeah. Right, that's what we'll plan on. Angela and I will work on setting up a mutually agreeable time to do that. And it was me. And as always, Khalees is saying we should experiment with this and adjourn again. Are you available if we have? Yes, I have questions and emails. Absolutely. That's part of the deal. So Angela's got my email address and others do as well, but I'm always at the other end, Chris@halvorsonnewmedia.com. So Halvorson, you should see my name somewhere on the screen there, but HALVORSON. Send me emails, even between now and the next webinar, any questions you have. That's part of the deal here. I don't know who it was, but I solved some question for somebody earlier last week. And please do that. All right, I'm going to sign off unless I hear an objection in the next 10 seconds. If I hear someone in chat say, no, don't go, I won't go. Thank you, Barbara and/or Angela says. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Christine. Ashley says, thank you to you all. You've been a great audience. I hope this works for you. Look for the sound file very soon. Thanks much now. Hanging up.